wish you. Hola. Oh, Rich? Oh, I call the the Public Safety and Public Works Committee to order. If not, we have Mr. Singleton is not attending today. We have Representative Gunther and Works. No minutes for August 14th.
Yeah. 10 minutes, August 14th, none for September.
Oh, no, for September.
Yes, it is.
First up is the Department of Public
I
Safety.
like the glasses. Everybody that needs sunglasses, but they want glasses.
Department of Public Safety, please. Thank you.
Greetings, Commissioner. Any questions on the report?
You know, I've been, just a second. Can you just give us a little, quick wrap up?
It's all in there.
I know it's in there, but I like to hear your voice. How's that? How you doing?
That sounds, you know what? I have, well, as you can tell by it,
Yes.
Last September, started out with a bang, no pun intended. It really has slowed down. The last couple of weeks has been quiet. We're seeing actually, I'll talk about on the show, increase in cooperation with people, which is leading to quicker arrests.
Mm-hmm.
We really kind of been rocking. I mean, but we're Big Harbor though, so it's like, that's what we do.
Okay.
Remember my voice enough?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Mr. Gunter, I wanted to, since we missed last week, and there's a full agenda tonight, I know you want stats, we do it next month, if you still go with that. Okay.
I just have one.
Yes, sir.
Last meeting, it was August, we talked a little bit about, you said there was I think it was Clark said there was an uptick in, I can't remember who it was actually, said there was an uptick in home invasions or something at that meeting.
Not Bob, I have to pull up the report and refer to it.
But that's not my question. My question will be, how does 7 compare to that trend?
So that's still, still a little bit higher than normally, usually like really 1 or 2 a month. Which is, we're kind of proud of that because years ago, we had like 700 and some odd for the year. So we're nowhere near that. So, but here, and I'm thinking, I'm glad you asked good questions, Jimmy. Because what I'm looking at now is there a relationship between the burglarized vehicles and the homes? So are these the same opportunists or different ones? So the data is just kind of coming in, and because we're having less of those, which is kind of good, we still have them. So at this point, I can't answer totally that question as far as the relationship, but that's what we're looking at. Because again, if we can get, and then also again, and sometimes, of course, dispatch moves slow, but we got a call about somebody walking around downtown. So now we have a description, potentially, somebody has the MO, because we've been having issues downtown as well. Thought was maybe, and still could be, an older person who might be one of the kind of homeless populations. But the call that came last week Thursday, as a matter of fact, was a younger kid, skinny, walking around with kind of a mask and a backpack downtown about 6:30. And they said he was kind of checking doors. So those are the things that we're getting and picking up. But again, when they call us, man, that's just so helpful.
Yeah, that's good. So you're getting participation from the residents.
Yes, we are.
That's good. It's important.
If there's something we can get better.
I just wanted to ask about the fires. It's been like a little uptick in fires. Fire side, I'm just asking this.
Yes and no. For the year, we're actually way down.
Okay.
In the past month, yes. What I can tell you without jeopardizing the investigation too much is so far, there's no tips that lead to any of them being related.
Oh, okay.
We have some tips we're working, and none of those tips are the same people or anything like that. So, so yes, while in a month we've been busy, for the year, we're about half of where we were last year on fires.
So, and I think, Commissioner, if you just
Gunther.
just say it, man. So we've gotten questions, are these stores, is there a pattern? Again, can't get into too much, but I think that's the question you're asking.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, and so the majority of them actually have been in the township as well. Obviously, G&G's was in ours, but the majority of the others have been in the township. We work extremely close with them. I was on the phone with their investigator last night for about 45 minutes and for the one on North Fair, and we're gonna go out there again tomorrow, but we have 3 credible tips on that, and none of them they're all for the same individuals, and none of them relate to any of the other fires. So I'm not a big believer in coincidence, but I think in this case, there's some coincidence. And the other one on South Fair and Bus, the beauty shop, that was electrical. They had a power strip and an extension cord plugged into a refrigerator. So that one for sure is not related. 110% without a doubt there. With that being said, just on the fire piece, this is Fire Prevention Week. So tonight after the meeting, we have the open house in the fire station for the elected officials and our committee members, Mr. Little, et cetera. And then on Sunday from 11 to 1, we have the community open house at the firehouse. And then if anyone needs smoke detectors, CO detectors, please let us know. We'll be happy to supply those for you. And I know James has come and got some in the past, and a lot of other people. So we are still, after 4 years, #1 in the state of Michigan, little old Benton Harbor, #1 in the state of Michigan for smoke alarms.
Great job, great job, great job.
While I'm talking, and he's gonna shoot me for talking too much, but one other thing that I wanted to, because I'm very proud of, for the first time after being told for 4 years,
This is huge. Talk loud.
yeah, after being told for 4 years that Benton Harbor would never get any training money, the county gave us $16,400 in training money, which is, that's about half of what they get every year. So for 4 years, we were denied. The other day, it was unanimous, and we were given those funds. So that, and I've been here almost 5, that was like the highlight for me so far.
So what you think, because of the training we doing, what you guys doing here?
I have 2 answers. 2 answers. One answer, we are Benton Harbor.
That's right.
And I truly believe that. We can do what other people think we can't. But number 2, we have truly proved ourselves.
All right.
So let me run some numbers here just real quick by you. But basically, we have trained 649 firefighters in state classes and close to 1,000 firefighters in all classes in 4 years. So we ran 7 fire academies with our 8th academy in session, 94 firefighters. We see 6 instructor classes with almost 70 firefighters, 5 fire officer classes with over 50 firefighters, 2 pump operator classes, 28 firefighters, 1 firefighter rescue class, 12 firefighters, 4 driving classes, 63 firefighters, and then other unfunded classes, over 325 firefighters.
All through
Just through little old Benton Harbor.
man, that's great. That's great news.
And over 1,000 total, so.
That's good. Good. Representative Fields, you have any questions? Representative Gunther?
Almost answered the questions were asked.
All right. I think that's it. Is that it?
Conclude us, sir. Thank you.
All right. Next we have the approval of the 119th Blossom Time Festival Grand Full Parade and Run for the Bugs. City Manager.
I'm afraid I don't have much information on that.
There's nothing unusual from what's been done in the past, same weekend, same time.
It's okay. And then-
Again,
Is it possible, although I'm no longer involved with the committee, for us to group Blossom Time and Juneteenth together? we're gonna have to do the same thing again, we do them all at once.
Juneteenth on Blossom Time Day?
No.
Oh, you mean approve it?
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Well, get in contact with the Juneteenth committee.
No, we don't. It's gonna be, we get, well, yeah, we get the date, yeah, well, or we can just do it individually. Just thought, if we don't do them,
Makes sense. But I think we need to communicate with the committee. You know, what day they gonna, I don't know.
okay.
We can approve it.
What are you guys approving? I'm sorry.
The Blossom Time Parade.
And one fell swoop, we do
It's the
Juneteenth too.
13th, it's the second Saturday.
Yeah,
Juneteenth.
it's May 10th this
It's
year.
May 10th, it's always the second Saturday now.
Are you asking, should we approve both parades?
So that's what I'm saying, that's just, maybe not one resolution, but we do both those at the same time and just get them over with. I suppose we scurry around in March or April trying to get it approved, because we go through this every year. What I suggested before is we just do actually, both of these, a perpetual running every year. We know it's gonna be Blossom Time,
Right.
probably know it's gonna be Juneteenth, just approve it in perpetuity, but that's on.
We get in contact with the committee and make.
Great
Great suggestion.
So the reason that this is on the agenda tonight is because they sent over the request, Blossom Time did, for us to.
For the music, know where it comes early.
I don't remember approving it this early before, but maybe they're just getting a start.
Well, thank you. Next, we have discussion, you gonna move that forward. Discussion, back to the Bricks Car Show. City manager, get the information on that.
Yes, sir. I've received contact from the Back to the Bricks organization. They are an organization that puts on car shows using various automobiles from different years and vintages and so forth. And I'd like to recommend that we actually extend an offer to them to look forward with presenting the car show. Brings a lot of people into our city that spend money doing different things and so forth. And there are various car shows all over the area that are well attended, and I think would be a good thing for the city of Benton Harbor.
Is it like a fee the city have to pay to get them here or do hard work?
No, and as a matter of fact, from the last discussion that we had, I'm gonna ask them if they could send somebody to come and attend one of our sessions.
Sounds good. Questions?
Is there any, that's all the details, do we have like a website we could visit to like learn more about it, maybe?
I'm pretty certain that they do have one. I'll see if I can get that and get it to you.
Support. Go ahead, Representative Pierce.
Is there a date?
There isn't a specific date. They work that out with us in terms of when, but they do have a period of time. It usually is in June.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. What kind of expenses the city going to have with this? I know they're gonna close some streets off. Public Works gonna have to be in there, public safety have to be there, so have they indicated what kind of expense the city's gonna get from this event?
No, and they wouldn't be able to do that. We would have to do it once we, worked out details as to when, how long, how many cars, that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Discussion. You'll be getting with them to come do a presentation.
To see if they would be willing to do that.
Thank you, City Manager. Next, we have Department of Public Works.
Project updates?
Good evening, commissioners, committee members. I have a short presentation. In that packet you have that Tiffany put together, you have three projects that are up for consideration for recommendation for award. They are the Pipestone Sewer Project, the FDCVT or City Hall parking lot projects, and then what we're calling the East Britain Area Improvement Project. So I'm gonna go through this really quick PowerPoint and give an update on those projects and list a little bit on some of the ongoing work right now. But essentially the city has the opportunity to award these three contracts to these individuals. Right now, all three projects, and I'll probably repeat it tonight, but all three projects are scheduled to start in spring. Weather permitting if they get started earlier in the winter, but these are all projects that the city has received grant funding for, sewer funding for, or water funding for. So these have been on the project scoping list for a while. So just like I said, like when I refer to the FDCV chip parking lots, I refer to it as because that's one of the grant funds that you guys had received. But it is the City Hall and the public safety lot. Like I said, the East Britain area, that includes High Street and Vineyard Avenue between McCord and Fair Avenue. Pipestone area is from the Britain, right there by Family Dollar, south to Division, where Division just got replaced. And then I'm going to also mention about the Water 5th Street sewer repair. You may have seen over there by North Shore Drive, Water Street, that there's been a pump out there bypassing the sewer. So those are the ones I'm going to talk about. Just an overview map. These are projects really just in the last 18 months. So I don't have the Pipestone, I don't have the Highland, I don't have stuff that happened in 2020. But you can see quite a bit of coverage here. The green ones are the projects that just recently were completed. Right there in the middle of the map is the Division in Columbus project that was recently completed earlier this year. The other one, the green south, that's Pipestone. That was the resurfacing one. The blue was active projects as when we put this map together. So the one at the very south end, Mayo Monroe, that has top course paving completed, and they're pretty much raising structures, and that one's going to be ready to start closeout. That's essentially done. The Jefferson Street north there, right there in the Brunson Hill area, that was recently completed. So those are blue projects that have been current and almost wrapping up. And then at the very far north end of the map, that's the Green and Edwards project that is nearing completion as well. Paving is probably going to happen at the end of October, but they're going to be able, they're starting to pour concrete now. The red ones are future. So in this map, it includes I wish I had a pointer, but I don't. Let me see if I got one. Okay, yeah. What I mentioned earlier, the East Britain area is this section that includes High Street between McCord and Fair Avenue, Vineyard between McCord and Fair Avenue, and then this area on Britain Avenue, including the Pickens and Warwick Terrace area. Those projects there were identified in water studies and sewer studies as areas that the grants would cover. The Water Street project I'll mention is just up here, right next to the north end by the CSX tracks. And obviously the city parking lots are here, right around the city lots. And then the Pipestone project I'm going to be referring to is this section of Pipestone that's just south of Britain to Division, and includes a block of Foster Avenue. So first off, the city of Benton Harbor parking lots. These are the City Hall lots. Bids came in at $312,000. That includes reconstruction of this lot over here for the City Hall staff, and also the actual public safety lot that's below the building here. And that the public safety lot's $197,000, and the City Hall lot is $114,000. 110 of that is provided by the FDCVT funding. The rest of the funding was coming out of the PPI funds, or the public permanent public infrastructure improvements. Those contracts, as you see in your resolution, B&Z was low bid on those, and essentially going to replace these parking lots almost to a new like condition. The public safety lot spurred this a little bit in the past. That public safety lot below City Hall has flooded significantly, and there's voids underneath some of the storm sewer structures down there. So there's cavities under there that need to be repaired. And then, of course, if you guys are familiar with the City Hall lot, it's beyond its useful life. It needs to be pulled up, recompacted, replace, fix the drainage, and repaved. So that is that project. The East Britain area project, we call it, like I mentioned earlier on that larger map, it includes 2 blocks of High Street. It includes 2 blocks of Vineyard, and it also includes a section down here in that Warwick Terrace and Pickens area. The also good thing about this project is MDOT is reconstructing Fair Avenue in 2026-27, and by the city doing this now, the MDOT, when they come through there and do all the utility work, they'll be connecting to these new main connections. That's going to even improve the water main system through there. This project was bid just recently, and low bid was provided by B&Z Company also at a cost of $3.3 million. The resolution and the recommendation letters in that packet. It includes new water main, new sanitary sewer, new storm sewer, new HMA roadway on High Street and Vineyard. The section south on this project actually does have some water mains in the green space. We're trying to save some of that concrete pavement out there because it's not in terrible condition. But the project would replace the 4-inch mains in the area that are causing issues with flow. Each one of these projects are scheduled to start next year, unless weather permitting would allow the contractor to do it earlier. And here's some of the existing conditions of those roadways. The Pipestone Area Sewer Reconstruction Project is a project that was dictated by the sewer study. There's a bad section of sanitary sewer on Pipestone that is south from Britain all the way to Division, where the project just recently ended on Division. That was bid through the city process, and L.E. Barber was the as-read low at $2,540,000, $86.85. Then again, this one also includes majority of your infrastructure improvements, storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and then Foster Avenue gets water main replacement. The existing water main on Pipestone is 16 inches, and it's a newer main, so the main does not have to be replaced. But this project, like I mentioned, was dictated that there's some pretty bad sanitary sewer underneath Pipestone in that section. This would still be, like I said, starting early next spring and run through the summer. Each one of these projects will have separate detours, but Pipestone will have to make sure we impact and follow and make sure everybody has a avenue with some of the new roads and some of the May Street and everything else detour. So this would start in next spring. Some of that, that's the section of Pipestone that is concrete pavement. We are putting back concrete pavement to match between Britain and Empire, and Foster is a pretty rough section of road through there that will get increased water main to improve replace the 4-inch with 8-inch main there. You will see really quick, we have an emergency, there's emergency sanitary sewer repair that's needed at North Shore and Water Street. That is just upstream of the Water Street lift station. That is down on the dead end of Water Street. This was also a project that was identified in the sanitary sewer project plan. So the city has funds to do this work. B&Z provided pricing at $192,791, and they're pretty much getting start that immediately, because right now there's bypass pumping. There's a significant sewer break that's sucking in sand into the system that's requiring ongoing maintenance. But this intersection will get replaced. It's not full reconstruction. It's really get in there, replace the sanitary sewers that are needed at the intersection, and then they'll repave whatever they disturb. I did send out a detour map. This is going to require a detour. We're going to shut down that whole section. Detour would be along Main Street to Riverview Drive to Graham Avenue. And we anticipate this is going to be about 2 weeks worth of construction. So this has to happen pretty quickly here before the winter and the asphalt plants close. So that project would be done by B&Z Company here locally. And here's some of the, you may have seen some of the cones out there, and this is actually underneath the pavement. It's completely pulling in sand and causing a void. That's an issue there. Really, those are the projects that I was here to talk about. Like I said, we're asking for you to move the recommendations forward for the full vote. And we do have some time on this, but the faster we can get things awarded with the contractor, just the better off the procedure is. I would come to you guys again and give you guys a heads up when things were starting, but we're not thinking anything earlier than spring. There probably is some work that can be done around City Hall, which I would have to coordinate with the contractor and city staff on. The parking lot here, the public safety lot down below is getting replaced in concrete pavement. Sometimes they can put concrete pavement in the wintertime months after asphalt plants close. So we're looking at that. And of course, we're looking at any impacts out there. We don't want to pull up something that they can't resurface for the winter. So.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question, about, city lots.
Yeah.
Possible they can get done before the asphalt plant closes.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. I've asked the B&Z if they were awarded, how quickly they could do it. I'm a little nervous on the City Hall lot just because of the timing. And I've also talked to staff, because we are looking at doing some improvements to parking lots throughout the city. And if you end up reconfigure it really quick before the season, you're going to have to plow them right away. And I'm a little nervous on, this is pretty straightforward out here. We're not changing much of the footprint, but the operation is going to have to know how to snow plow it. And I'd hate to get something damaged this year, but also I understand the concern of getting it done quicker. But we'd have to talk with the contractor. Right now, they have the option of not doing it until later in the year, in the spring. So.
Yeah, so for the project near, was that High and Vineyard? How was your plan accommodating school bidding session? How would that change how kids travel to school?
So right now with school, I mean, they're set up to do it starting earlier in the year. So we would have to accommodate the school there at Corset McCord. If we end up doing one block at a time is what we will probably end up doing. And we would just have to maybe work with the bus routes, similar to what we're doing on May and Monroe and the Broadway project right now. The stuff on East Britain, the stuff south of Britain is kind of in the side space or the green space. So it won't take much disruption, and I don't anticipate much disruption down here in this neighborhood. But yes, High Street and Vineyard will have to take that into consideration. If they started next spring, they could probably do some of the stuff that has the low impact before school's out, and then hit High and Vineyard. Let's call it June 1st. Yeah. Yep.
Questions?
I have a question about water in Fifth Street. That, location has been repaired quite a few times. And my question is, what is going on? Because I follow the money and it's really disheartening for me to see year after year, this same location and money being paid out. So I need to know what is going on.
The repair that I was involved in was a repair on one of the manholes within this section. It was a repair specifically to one of the manholes. If you happen to drive past it, it's kind of in a concrete collar or concrete patch area.
I got it.
Yep. What we found when we did the CCTV work is that most of the connections to all the sanitary, there's 4 in there, and the way that the sanitary was routed through there, it really needs to be, the sanitary piping needs to be replaced and not just the structure. So that's what's with this repair. 4 new manholes and pipe in a new configuration, because what we found during the CCTV work is that the actual pipe has separated in areas and along with separated at those manholes. So even though they did a spot repair a couple of years ago in that location, when we ran the camera through it, we found that the pipe between the manholes and the intersection has basically failed. That's an area where there's a lot of flow that gets down to the Water Street station, and then the Water Street station pumps it out all the way down close to the Mason Jar area. That's the best location I can, but it pumps it out. And we have noticed that Public Works has had to go in there and clean that line because of the pipe has been kind of basically separated, clogging up and having grease and everything in there. So we need to put a new plastic piece of pipe through that intersection, and then we rebuild those manholes in a little bit different configuration than what's out there now. You're right, Commissioner Henry, the spot repairs before, it was just isolated at a manhole. So this is a much bigger fix in this area.
I really mean a fix, because every time I heard them say that we were gonna pay $100,000 or more, that it was a fix. So I'm asking you, Mr. Engineer, is this gonna fix the problem? Because I don't wanna see us paying out any more money. It's not just one time. It was the last time you were involved in it, but it's been fixed more than twice now.
Yep.
And so I'm asking you, is this gonna fix?
Yes,
the problem?
this will fix that flow through that intersection. Absolutely. There are concerns with the Water Street lift station as well that the city also had received funding for, that is going to improve the actual lift station itself, which is down by the bridge or the pedestrian bridge. But yes, this right now is all virtufied clay pipe that's separated and collapsed through this section. And yes, when we replace manhole to manhole and put new plastic PVC pipe in, it will be fixed.
All right, thank you. One other question. Back to my human infrastructure. Now, I just told you I love to follow the money. I follow this money for all of these projects from the federal government to us. That puts in Section 3, where we get some jobs or some training. And then it also allows us to get 25% for subcontractors. So these are things that I've seen been put in place by the elected official to make something happen. And it's not happening. Hundreds of billions of dollars coming in this city, and we are not getting not one train. And down there on Main Street, they have people that's being trained to do trade work, and we have nothing set up to accept them.
Jason, is B and Z following the guidelines? I know we talked about this before.
So they
Prove
provide,
it.
they've provided the write-ups for section 3. And it's, I can provide those numbers. They have people working that's on their crews that have Benton Harbor addresses. I can provide that. One thing that me and Mr. Gunter was talking about was getting basically a workforce meeting with those contractors. And actually, we just need to set it up. We'd like to bring in probably the ones that you guys have under contract. Ellie Barber, B&Z, Northern, and Mr. Gunther had said he has possibly some individuals that would be interested in talking with the contractors. So we just got to put that in motion. It's actually a good time to do that because we're awarding possible contracts and they're not starting for a while. So that is a good thing. But so that is happening. Whether or not they're not providing 25% of minority subcontractors work to these larger projects.
Well, that's cool. But section 3 allows us to create some and train some people. And that's where our money coming from. So I don't see why it takes 8 years to set up section 3 and we've had it. It's been approved by the body more than once. And it's still not working. So I'll just keep bringing it up until somebody feels embarrassed that they're allowing this to happen to their grandkids.
City Manager, you have anything on this?
I don't at this time.
Honorable Chair, I have asked for understanding of section 3, and the city manager told us he was gonna give it to us. And now maybe he gave it to us and I went senior moment, but do you remember getting it?
We asked City Manager, you send the information out.
I have not, but I'm still working on it.
Can I have a timeline, please? Because every day that this not get addressed, somebody is suffering in my community. Can I get a timeline through the chair?
City Manager can't get a timeline. I know you're busy.
We'll try and have that out to everyone sometime in the next 3 weeks.
Thank you, City Manager.
Never mind, just me and you. Me and you, just, what's all right.
Ms. Kennard, Commissioner Kennard.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mr.
Ask on the chair, yes, correct.
Honorable Chair, I'd like to ask Ammermont. We talked to you over about 3 weeks ago, about the tree
But
that,
talk to Commissioner Kennard, yeah.
I still have to talk to you?
Yeah,
Cause I thought,
that's
okay,
procedure.
Well, that's the way he run his meeting.
That's procedure, I'm just trying to.
No, it ain't. It's your procedure.
okay,
Point of order.
I'm asking you, cause I hadn't talked to you
He
about it.
can hear you. Go ahead.
The tree that is by the garden there has been taken off the most crucial roots. So when this weather turns bad, that tree is gonna topple one way or the other. The main one was cut off so that they could put the sidewalk in, because the sidewalk was up because of the root system. And then going into the street, it was cut off there because the curb was there and they needed room to put in the new curb and everything. So I did talk to Ammermont, since you told, I didn't get the name, Ammermont, about why was that tree left and all the trees down, the way was taken down. I had even asked the gentleman that was standing out there, and I don't know his name, but one of the workers. He said he was instructed not to take, that they were instructed not to take the tree down. Well, why not take that one down? Because then it is gonna create a real problem. So I'm addressing this so it's in the public. And if it falls and something happens, it's gonna be a big problem. It's gonna present a big problem. Somebody could either get killed
Jason,
could
you
be
got any
passing out, whatever.
Yeah, that,
information on that?
yeah, that tree was left there because we all thought everybody wanted it there, right next to the garden.
I know.
The contract is still open, so the city can still consider it to be removed if we wanted to. And I talked to the contractor on that. The city has the same contractor working on Broadway, so they're not leaving town before, and we haven't done final acceptance of that project yet.
Okay. You said so they want the tree to stay?
At first, that's why we left it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's why we left
They
it.
never heard
Yeah.
that from me.
So
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
I just sent the
Go ahead.
pictures.
Get with the
And if you
engineers.
see how
and we'll
the
take a
telegram
look at it.
post is there,
We'll take a look at the tree.
he's got the pictures.
I just sent them to you.
City manager, you gonna take it.
Okay, I want that.
We'll go ahead and take a look at it, is what we'll do, and find out if
And
it really
it's-
needs to be removed.
He's giving you
It's
the
hot
picture.
in here.
Yes.
He's giving you the picture. The reason I'm adamant is because they said they're gonna do one thing and then, it's left there.
Jason.
And so I don't want this to hurt somebody. This is called public safety.
Right.
So public safety is when you bring an issue such as this up.
And
I
they,
never have told anyone that I want that tree to stay there because I know the harm that it can cause.
Mhm.
I never relayed that, but I did hear him say in 2 weeks, cause Shaquille and I approached him right here, Emma, as you call his name. And, he said in a couple of weeks that it would have been taken down. That's been right at a month now.
the city manager just said they will get with the engineer at Mars too.
We'll take a look at it, but we do need to make sure it's understood. Shaquille and the commissioner don't have any authority to give engineer or anybody else who works for the city directions.
But I will have something to say if it hurts somebody. So I'm glad it's being documented.
Jason, I got one question for you. Again, I asked you about this, the Colfax and Klein, where the water flood at. I think I seen Dukes over there with the camera, the Dukes, right?
yes.
If they find out,
So Duke's right now is doing sanitary sewer,
okay,
closed circuit television for you guys as part of a project that's required by the Eagle under the city's ACO to investigate pipes. I'll give a quick update. They're about 25% done with the city, so they're working through things. They are not scheduled right now to do storm sewer,
okay.
okay? But that has been a list of mine to do as soon as we can put together a package for storm sewer. We would be looking at cleaning that one out for sure, with another couple other areas in the city. I may be able to get Dukes to do that in that certain sections, but I'd have to talk with city staff and make sure that the funding is in place
Mhm.
compared to the contract that's there for the sanitary sewer.
Okay, now one more question. On Colfax, in front of the high school parking lot, I think it was a service line replaced.
Okay.
But they didn't smooth out the asphalt. People have to, it's a big square,
Okay.
just hilly, and could we get that? looked
Is-
at? I don't know
yeah,
what the
yeah, is-
Contractor did it.
Is it
It's right across the street on the.
is it kind
It's
of
Clay, right after Clay.
right after Clay, like near where the Black Lives Matter? I mean that area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I will.
We get that smoothed out.
We've been looking. I will look at that. If you guys recall, there's going to be a signal job
Right.
on Colfax and Empire, and that the bump out
Bump
is
out.
getting replaced. And that project actually will be starting here in the next couple of weeks, but it's very minimal of what they're doing in spring.
Mhm.
But I'll look at that area as well.
Okay.
Yep, I'll see if we can get that fixed.
And put on your list too, when, on Colfax, going down the hill, that they put lines,
Yep.
Mhm.
Maybe.
yellow, white, whatever, you know. No, and, just to separate things, since we all know. That's major three-way, you need to
One of the things that we brought up before about the section that's one way going down the hill, correct? Is also striping bike lanes. So I think when we stripe the bike lanes, we should look at striping what we want to do for that section going down. And if you recall, also the city will be reconstructing Colfax
be.
to make sure it should all flow and tie in together from the one way down to Main Street when we're all said and done this time next year, let's call it.
Representative Fields.
But no, seriously, Colfax, right, coming up to Britain, is that a right turn, a straight, and a left? That's what I was thinking about before the hill, before you go down, right, before you end up behind DHS. At Colfax, where it becomes the one-way, is that 3 lanes there or 3 turns?
You're saying behind the health department or the health services?
We're
At the top of
still
the
up.
hill.
Yeah, we're still up here, we're at Britain and Colfax.
Heading north.
I'm not.
Heading north, right?
Yep, heading towards Main Street,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to that,
It's not, it really is not, it would be parking, and it's really like a two lane, really.
in reality, you have that wide section of one-way Colfax going down, and it is wide. It is one of the widest streets you have, and it's one way. But right there, as you're getting up to Britain, it is a left turn, it's a straight, or it's a right turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we able to get, that's what I meant, not all the, the entire time, but when we're coming up there, because I want to go straight, sometimes somebody's in the middle turning from there.
So
Go
you're
to the
saying,
right.
if you could break it off and make it 2 lanes, do
Make
a
it-
dedicated
or
left.
3.
I'll look
No.
at that. I think you're gonna be limited on.
To, what is it supposed to be?
Yeah, you're probably limited on the curb line, the width on the south side of Britain, but I'll definitely look at that.
You said that's a really wide street. Is it possible to add parking on that street? And I ask because the park is right there and there's not a lot of parking for that park.
I would think so, yeah. If we're talking the same section, the section that goes downhill.
So the north side of Colfax on that intersection.
Yeah,
Going down.
it's, you're probably wide enough to stripe it. I mean, technically, I'd have to look and talk to our office for the geometrics, but you have this wide section of Colfax. You could put parking on one side and put the center line in a completely different spot. You have the width. Well, you don't need a center line because it's one way. But how about I work on, because I was always remembering coming back to you guys and talking about bike paths. Why don't I put together a sketch what the pavement markings would be and just come back to do that before we do that. So it'll be sometime next year, as we're getting ready for the Colfax project.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna move these projects on. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Talk about the project.
It's about the project,
Okay.
yes, sir. When they first did the projects, we talked about grass and they replaced some grass, but there's some contractor that's replacing grass and then nothing but weeds is growing up. And it looks awful. And then there's another contractor that's got a really nice grade of grass growing really nice. So, and my second part of that question is, we got new trees, and I don't know if the homeowners know what they're supposed to do for them, but some of them are already dead. So I need to know how the city wants to handle that. I know that the homeowner is responsible for it, and they pay for it. So it's really something that they should know what to do about it, and it should come from us. That might be another reason for us to have a newsletter, so people can know what to do with projects like this. So that's my question about the grass. I don't like that, them weeds growing up everywhere.
Do you know the projects, the locations that you have seen the different types of restoration?
Go down May Street, you'll see all different kinds of
So
it.
May Street, just if you're comparing May Street, why one section is worse than the other, it's the same contractor. They planted the seed at different times of year when it's dry. The seed that they just placed looks beautiful. When we do place the seed, we put out notifications for the owner to water it as best they can. We're looking at trying to change that spec so that the contractor is responsible for providing a level of turf establishment, and they are required to water. They'll have to pay a little bit more in their bid price, but we are looking at doing that so that that's not something that we have to keep track of or ask the residents to do. So that's something that we are looking at. But they depending on the time of year when they planted,
No,
if they planted it in August when we didn't have any rain, it does come back weeds. I will say along on Main Street, Northern actually has mowed those grasses out there, which that's something that
you
they,
can't mow weed. They just come back.
so the idea is to keep the weeds down so that the actual seed can survive. But if it's in a bad condition as we walk through the job and everything, I will ask them to reestablish that section of restoration.
Well, when that senior citizen called me and said, look at this, I just have to tell them that they said they were gonna look into it. See that, how that affects us.
What about your library?
My name is Danny Brown, I'm at 823 Levette. I was talking about the project. Whenever it rains, I have to call Michi. Sorry, I don't know his last name, that's all I call him. Because Public Works drain overflows every time it rains. And so I'm listening, and I commend him for it. He have his staff out there instantly. I'm telling you, as soon as it rains, it's terrible. I live at Colfax, 800 block of Colfax. So they have to go to Klein and Levette and Levette and Clay for my drains. But now from what you was telling me, they're out there doing sewage only. So when it rains to storm drains, I'm gonna still get this problem? Is that what you're telling? Is that what you're saying, Michi?
The storm drains is different than the sewer. You was having a problem with the sewer.
Only when it rains.
Sanitary?
It was a sanitary.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, I don't know if they've been over there yet, over there on the
They
vet.
were there this morning, yeah.
So they televising, so we'll know.
Yeah, we can look
more-
in that.
We'll know
yeah.
more about it after they get done.
Cause I was about to call you. Yeah, for real.
They are cleaning out. We're getting all the video footage, and they're pulling out a lot of roots and some debris in the lines. So that has been happening. So hopefully it does improve. And I'll make note of what's going on with 823 and talk to Michi about that.
And we have a record, appreciate it. And secondly, when they came through and did the water lines, and replaced the water lines in the house, I had collard greens growing in my front yard. I checked you out the grass. So, yeah, they wasn't lying about, they just throwing out anything replacing the grass. Yeah, collard greens, not, no,
Only in
not lying, I
there.
can call my mama. She's from Mississippi, come get my greens in my front yard.
Was that at the same address?
Yeah.
Okay.
They put it all the time.
Hey, where they at now?
They went to some-
Only in Benham.
Point of order.
Sorry.
We're gonna move this, that's it, we're gonna move these projects forward. Thank you, Anthony, Jason. Next, we have, public comments. I think you get 3 minutes. 3 minutes, clerk. 3 minutes. Public comments, anybody have public comments? Time is now. Public comment. You come up here,
No, ladies first.
you can come up.
Hi, I'm Gwen Johnson, 1198 Monroe. I have a couple of comments, questions. I would like to know what's going on with the Citizens Review Board. This has been brought up over 2 months ago. The city manager said that he would get to it. Once we asked him, another week we asked him, he said the same thing. And so far, nothing's been done. I have applications and people wants to complete these applications, but they cannot complete the applications if you guys are not putting it forward. So, and I have a lot of complaints from the citizens that has not been addressed. So I would like to know, and the citizens would like to know, when are you all, or when is the city manager going to address the Citizens Review Board, get this put in place so people can be on this committee, so we can get started, because there will be training provided, but we can't do anything until this is done. And so it's been put off and put off and put off. It's been approved, 4 years ago? And like Commissioner Henry was saying, put stuff in place and nothing gets done. Stuff just sits around, right? So we need to know when this is gonna be put in place.
City manager, you got any information?
Yes, sir. I have been studying the citizen review boards and how they're operating in other cities here in Michigan. I have some items that I'm going to be bringing back to the commission, some suggestions I have before we do that. But I must be honest and say that this has not been number one priority for the last few months. Getting that water situation straightened out and responding to Eagle and their concerns has been top priority, along with resolving the remaining issues we had with HUD on CDBG. And this city has lots of problems, and we have to take them in order.
Well, this has been should have been the top of the list. Like I said, it's been the resolution came in years ago. So that should have been top priority because the citizens should be top priority. The residents should be top priority. Okay, so I don't understand because you keep saying, last time you said, oh, I'm gonna get to it, and you still haven't gotten to it. And like I said, there's a lot of complaints that has not been addressed. And you guys are gonna set yourselves up for a class action lawsuit because it's a lot of things that needs to be addressed from the citizens, where the Citizens Review Board can be a part of that to make sure that things are done right and the citizens get what they're supposed to have, the justice that they're supposed to have. And I think that should be top priority. So amongst whatever else that you say that you're doing, because every time I turn around, it's like, I'm get to it. If some people's asking questions, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to the same questions and nothing's being done. So can we get a timeline for that? Because it's been months, actually years.
No, there's no point in me giving a timeline. I'm gonna get to it. As soon
Well,
as I
hopefully
can.
we'll have another city manager.
Come on.
I have, over and over again, even our clerk can tell you, I brought this up, I think it was first in January. And I've talked and I've been said they had to make changes and they can't make any changes in that. They'd have to come before the full commission. So I was just waiting to see what changes would they make. Are they dishonest that they put something on there that made some changes in it? And I know it'd have to come before the full body. But this should have been active for years. And so I was told, because McGinnis came about and he asked me what was my hurry about it. I mean, years that something been voted upon from the full commission and passed through. And then I'm told, what's the hurry? And it's been years. That's not fair. That's not right. So you all are to get, maybe the city manager interim has got too much on him. And now that we are looking into having someone to fit the seat for city manager, just go, let him do what he does and put somebody in here as city manager. So the time is just right for it. Because I see a lot of time people are asking questions from him. And he's so busy and he got so much going on him. It's evidently it's something, some things are timely matter. And you can't wait forever. So since it's too much for him, let's go ahead and make our choice of getting a city manager in so he can do the job. And then he can remain doing the job that he was in before he took on as interim. Thank you.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Commissioner Isom. Just had a couple announcements that I wanted to make. This has just been a small group meeting just about the violence and stuff that has been happening in the community. And as a result of those meetings that have been happening, there has been some action items that have come out of those. The first one is next Wednesday at 6 p.m. There will be an all community prayer gathering at Second Baptist Church at 6 p.m. So all churches, all religions are invited to this event because we just believe that any movement needs to start with prayer, and the community needs to be covered in prayer with all of the things that are happening in our community, in the state, and in the world. So that'll be first. Then on the 24th, there will be a back to I'll have to look at it, a community organizing event at Roy Sherns on the 24th, and that'll be from 5:30 to 7. It's a community event to just get out in the community to talk to residents about what's happening, that kind of thing. Everyone is invited, especially those who are interested in stopping the violence that's happening in our community with our youth. Everyone is invited, so please come to that event. Then on November the 3rd, there will be a community forum talking about a lot of the information that we've gathered as a result of the things that we're doing. So everybody that's under the sound of my voice is invited. We need all voices. It's going to take a community to turn the things around in our community, the negative things that are happening. So I hope all can show up the 16th, next Wednesday, the 24th, the following Thursday, and November the 2nd, which is right before the election. Thank you.
Where's the second location on the 24th?
Right at Roy Sherns, right on the corner of Empire and, using this parking lot. So it'll be barbecuing hot dogs, hamburgers, buns, and just talking to residents, and specifically, the target is our youth, to talk to youth in that area. So people will be walking down and just talking to our youth and people in our community about what's happening.
November 1st.
And then November the 2nd, which is a Saturday, from 1 to 3, there will be a community forum.
At that same location?
No, that'll be at Beautiful Gate Baptist Church. I'm sorry. Thank you, Commissioner. And that'll be from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday, November the 2nd.
I'm sorry,
1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Yep, Pastor Charlie Jones
Beautiful.
at his church, Beautiful Gate. So please come out, especially to the prayer event. We need to cover our city in prayer. So thank you so much.
How are you promoting those?
The flyers will be out tomorrow. Just wanted to get, because the prayer event is happening next week. So just wanted to make everybody aware, and the chief will talk about it a little bit on his chat with the chief tomorrow. So please come out to those events.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, how y'all doing? My name is Denny Brown, live at 823 Levette. The reason I'm here is kind of like the police review board. I've been trying to get a complaint heard before the city now since 2005. It was once told that it couldn't be heard because I was an employee. I can't be heard because I'm no longer an employee. Then it was told I'm exempt from the Civil Service Board. I'm saying that it's illegal for the city to be operating without a Civil Service Board. It's illegal for the city to be operating without the Police Review Board. If they were serious about the Police Review Board, you guys would have took actions and steps for it to be on the ballot for this November, because it would be an amendment for the charter, because it's something new y'all bringing up. So it would have had to went through steps. The governor would have had to approve it, and then came back down here to us. We would have had to vote on it and say, yeah, let's run with it. Y'all haven't done those steps. That's because they have no intention on bringing this here. So mind you, listen to this, y'all born and raised here. I mean, y'all been here. I've been complaining and saying the city been doing me wrong for years, right? Who heard me say, y'all been doing me wrong. So then all of a sudden, y'all come up with a police review board to review complaints that people bring. I mean, that's what I've been saying the whole time. You're not reviewing my complaint and you're doing it wrong. So now with this lady, she done came in 2000 and I've been sitting back waiting. I've been waiting for it to come so I can bring my complaint to the city. So now you finally got something, but you're still stalling it out. And right here, this, Ms. Henry.
Can you read that with that star say right there loud?
Quote, Commissioner Henry,
Yeah.
I'm having problems with my glasses. Can you read this?
Oh my God. Commissioner Henry stated in a committee meeting, this one, I used to be on this board. Consensus was given to reinstate the Civil Service Board in an effort to help resolve this matter and others that may be forthcoming. She said that a directive was given to the city manager, Watson, to send my complaint to the city attorney, to the attorney general, because the charter speaks what to do when such matters don't happen. So we came down here the next Monday. Watson didn't send the thing over, and he sent a memo out over here telling the commission, look, y'all just don't know how bad that thing motion it is y'all passed last night by sending it. Clerk, can you tell me what happens if the commission votes to, I have a question to you. What if the commission votes to pass something and the votes pass and they don't act on what they passed? What happens? Is there any violation? Can they be in violation for not acting on their own act that they just passed? I'm sorry?
Refer to the city attorney.
Is that what you're telling me? Is that what normally what happens, or?
No, that's an answer that we would refer to the city attorney to get an answer for you.
Got you. So, sir, can you please, I want you to refer this to the city attorney. And I'm asking that this matter did you guys, I gave this information and some more information to the clerk to give to you guys today. Did you guys receive my information? So what I'm asking is that the information that you got, you review it, you call me with any questions, and then that you refer this to be put on the agenda for the big boys on Monday night to handle it, to make sure they do what they need to do, because everybody in the city, y'all involved, I'm trying to slow it down. When Jared violated the city, the charter, and did the stuff to the girl, they charged Jared with everything in the charter. So when they sued, they didn't get no money. When Collins did the drug stuff, they only charged him with violation of state. They didn't charge him with violation of charter. That's why when they sued for him, they got the money. You understand what I'm saying? So when Ron Singleton is also, by taking away the Civil Service Board, you can put people in positions that you want to put them in, and you can make your own pay rate. And that's what's been going on. That's why Mr. Singleton has stayed in politics this long. I'm asking you to review it, call me, and put it on the agenda. And if I'm telling you, did you see where I gave everybody their name? I mean, just like if a kid go to school and the teacher see a mark and don't report it, that teacher's in violation. Y'all took an oath. Y'all said, look, Ben Harbor's crooked. I want to change. I don't know why it's so hard to believe that I was a black police officer in the 90s, seeing white police officers do stuff to our people. And that's the only reason that I got something against me is because of citizen complaints. That's the only thing. Because somebody put a citizen, Lundeen pistol whipped Ronald Roseberg. Lundeen came in and saw me take the citizen complaint for him. And none of it has been investigated. Please call me and put it on the agenda.
Thanks, Mr. Brown.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I know you're ready to go, and I am too. But you ain't, just let me do what I need to do for 3 minutes.
Public comments. Mr. Dunn?
I got my 3 minutes now?
Yes.
Okay. Have to wrestle for that as a citizen, like you have to wrestle for everything else. But guess what? get ready to wrestle. A citizens review board, we have been asking for it too damn long. And y'all smile and say a change gonna come and all that lottie-dottie-dottie stuff, but it ain't happening. Y'all got some, get us a, you don't? Y'all don't?
Got some what? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, don't make me say it. Y'all got some gusto. You got some hope in the future for us as blacks in Ben Harbor. Get us a review board. Don't be sitting up there smiling, talking about you our friend, the citizens' friend, and you get our votes and you sit up there and smile it off like you don't hear a concern. This ain't no complaint, but guess what? It's a demand now because it's out in the open and you guys need to do something about it other than smile and eat hot dogs and drink beer, smoke tobacco. No, we smoke pot. Thank you.
Everybody, any comments?
Stop playing, get us a review board.
Yeah, I'm so glad I was able to make it here. I'm O'Shea Jackson, 1089 Columbus Avenue. I'm here because I feel like the police department is trying to frame me. So I want y'all, I'm just putting this on the record so y'all can know what's going on. Y'all need to look into it. All right, y'all, they making false allegations against me and all kinds of things. And they stay locking me up in jail. They got police officers calling my cell phone without me even giving them my phone number. They following me everywhere. And that's Ben Harbor Police Department. So y'all need to get into that, look into that and get them off of me because I'm already filing a lawsuit.
Have one more.
The young lady right here, she haven't asked a question. Comment.
My name is Lynetta Williams. I live at 847 Mineral, and I'm just concerned about the water and the housing situation that we live in. A lot of landlords are slumlords, and they do nothing to the housing, and the rent just keeps increasing. And me as a tenant, I reported them to the city hall. I reported them to the gentleman at the police station that does different things, that comes out, inspector. Never came, never did anything. And I just want to know why the water is trying to go up 10% when we were poisoned by the water. So why is the price trying to steady go up? Every time you get a bill, it's more and more and more. Like it changes every month, skyrockets, like literally. So that's really my concern, the water and the landlords around here.
One other thing I wanted to mention too, O'Shea, I tried to follow up with a lot of the complaints when they have complaints. And I went with him. They had a warrant out for his arrest, and I spent with him 4 hours yesterday them to get him. Everything was straightened out, and he turned himself in if they were looking for him. He did all the steps to make things right as the complaint that was sent against him. There was no evidence or anything that they could put their hands on, like from a camera, maybe picking it up or something. And it's his word against the person. He went to a hearing and she didn't show up, so they still put out another warrant for him. So now this young man here, yesterday I sit there with him 4 hours, him and his mother, and saw how he took care of, he turned himself in and went before the judge, and the judge didn't put no curfew on him or anything. And he had all his papers on him. And last night he called me. I had just come from the school board meeting. He said, Miss Kennard, he said, the police done stopped me and they taking me to jail. He said, it's a warrant out for me. And so I said, how could that be? So that when I got there where they had stopped him, there was a policeman there. He said they still got a warrant out for him. He said, I see all of this paperwork here. He said, but because it's out, I have to take him in still. And he had all his paperwork to show that he had been in court there. And they had, everything was taken care up to the time they have him to come in with her, I guess, presence. But that's wrong. If he done went there and took care of all his business and all the files, and they had to release him today. But this is wrong. Why is this happening to this young man? And I like to follow through to see if I'm getting the truth from them. So when I come back here, oh, he must have done something, or he didn't take care of business. But I went there and I set the 4 hours to make sure that I hear what is being said, what is being done, and I can speak for myself as to what I saw. I'm an eyewitness to that. So something seriously need to be in place so we can protect. Everybody's not wrong with these sometimes, and the police is not always wrong. But in this instance, I see that the judicial system, the system here that we got going, we need the review board in here. We need everything that needs to be to protect the residents, the citizens, as well. So as we want the police to be protected. So if we're able to do the research and everything, the police should welcome us, because then we get the right answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard. Commissioner Kennard. Commissioner Henry.
Well, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, somebody sent us an email, a video of their arrest incident. And I was like, wow. And I called the state police to ask them what happened, or could I get information? And of course, they told me no. But let's talk about the history. I remember when Whirlpool came to this room and said they needed to help Benton Harbor Police Department out by paying the state police to come in, $50,000 a year. They've been here. The state man has been here. And the complaints that we're getting from the state police and what they're doing to the people, they're not saying Benton Harbor Police is doing it. They're talking about the state police is doing it. Well, I haven't heard any. Well, I understand you because it's personal.
Just look at my news channel.
Well, yeah, I know, because your news
There
channel.
yesterday, the day before. And
So I'm
everybody-
saying there's some issues, and it's got to come out of this committee, because it's not going to come out of personnel and finance. It's got to come out of this committee.
Thank you,
So
Commissioner.
you know what
Yeah, well-
has to be done?
What's that?
Expect good things.
The resolution, ask the clerk to send the resolution to us all as to what we approved. And ask Mr. Little, to make it fast, because things are happening and they're not looking good. And we need to protect ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I'm talking the residents.
That's right.
We need to protect the residents. We've already had 400 or 500 years of oppression. We don't need that in our home rule community. We need to take some action, and it's got to come out of this committee, because it's not coming from staff, because staff is overworked. But we got to put some timeline to make sure we get what we need. And it's got to come out of this committee, and straight from you, Chair, and with the help of your other.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry. You send the resolution out. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Go ahead, City Manager.
Yes, sir. A couple things. One, after this meeting, if anyone's interested, Public Safety is having an open house this evening over in the fire section, and you're welcome to come through and participate. I'd like to say in response to not only the particular item we're talking about right now, the tree, the other things, as you listen to the discussion, as I've listened here, we're talking about one thing that's been going on 5 years, something else that's been going on 4 years. I've been trying to balance and carry the load for what's going on here since April of this year. I already had my hands full. In case people forgot, I originally was hired to straighten out your problems with community development block grant. It took several years to do that because there's a lot to it. I think people need to stop and recognize I had to, for another reason, I sat down and did a count. Within this city hall structure, you got about 11 people in here, most of them clerical and support personnel and whatnot. You've got over at Public Works, 7 or 8 people that have their hands full. This city, the first time I came here, had over 140 people. When I came back in 2000, I had 137 people. What we're doing now in this city is more than has been done in the last 50 years. And we're doing it with like 15 to 17 or 18 people. I'm not opposed to trying to finish what we're talking about with a review board or going to look at a tree. But when we're talking about city government that by its own rules has a deadline for a budget that had to be finished, has a deadline, HUD has a deadline for a caper that we just met, another deadline coming up. We have dozens of deadlines. In this time that I've been here, we've got about $8 million down here with Oxford. We've got $1 million for all Park. We've got $1 million for the Bobo Brazil Center, $350,000 for the high water. Who do you think's doing those? You know? And it's all taken place here recently. Every one of those things have their own deadlines and whatnot. I spent a half a day because the last, I think it was Thursday or Friday, because we just got a grant from NOAA for $1,032,500. And the very first step in getting the grant was to sit down and spend the morning listening to them explaining their rules about how this thing is going to be done. That stuff can't be put on a back burner. Somebody's got to do it. And I don't have a lot of choices of people to hand it to say do it. So trees that I need to look at, this other stuff, it gets pushed down the road, true enough. I'm not going to try to pretend that it doesn't. That's why I'm telling you. It's a priority, but it's not the top priority. And I will get this information as soon as I can, get it to you all, and we'll work from there.
Right, meeting adjourned.
I thought you were supposed to
You
get.
should